Welcome to GreenBiz Studio. I'm James Ball, the Director of Buildings at GreenBiz, and I'm excited to be speaking with Susan Uthayakumar, the Chief Energy and Sustainability Officer with Prologis. Welcome, Susan.
Well, thank you for having me, James. It's great to be here.
It's a pleasure. I want to dive right in on kind of the tough question around Scope 3. I think so many companies are really struggling to decarbonize their supply chain right now. Can you share a bit with how Prologis is tackling this tough issue of Scope 3?
Absolutely. So, scope three is the hardest to decarbonize and typically is the largest part of the emissions for any company. And for Prologis, 99.9% of our emissions comes from scope three. So, we decided when we set our net zero strategy that unless we tackle scope three, we're not going to make an impact. So what we're doing is when we set our net zero goal, we looked at the data in terms of what's driving our scope three. So based on the data, I know that 75% of our scope three comes from the energy consumption of our customers on our premises, and 25% comes from the embodied carbon and the material that we use to build. So knowing where the emissions is coming from gives me the answer to what I need to go tackle. So with this, what we did was we said, okay, we've got existing technologies to solve for the 75% that's coming from the customer energy consumption. And therefore, we set up our energy, which is to provide green energy to our customers, as well as our mobility business, which is to provide the charging infrastructure to facilitate electrification and therefore the decarbonization of transportation. And so we are now scaling up those businesses and we're making good progress. We've got 500 megawatts of solar that's operational on our premises. So we're the number two in the US in terms of on-site generation. And having made progress there, we're now focusing on really solving for the embodied carbon. And James, as you know, there's no scalable, cost-effective, low carbon or zero carbon concrete or steel. So we're working on our partners, Samax and Holcim, on finding that. And because we build 40 million square feet per year, once we find the right material and the right partner, we will be able to realize economies of scale and really change the game.
Wow. So you're doing the deep dive on carbon. That's really applaudable. What about a more kind of general view of sustainability? I think you're also doing some market leading work in kind of green certifications, taking that holistic view. Share a bit about how that plays into your business's value proposition. What standards are you working with?
Absolutely. So, every new development that comes to our investment committee for approval will be built with the sustainability certification. So it could be BREEAM, it could be LEED, it could be wellness. It really depends on the market that we're building in. And so today, 19% of our 1.2 billion square feet is sustainability certified. And what is the value proposition? One, we do the right thing in terms of taking the lead. Number two, when you build something sustainability, you always have lower operating costs and you provide a differentiated value added product to our customers. And when we look at our large multinational customers or our strategic customers, 30% of what those customers have leased are green certified. So it really makes a difference in terms of bringing the operational efficiencies and just differentiating yourself in the market.
That's great. Let's wrap up with one just final thing of your top focus. What is your biggest priority for 2024 right now?
Two things, James. One is really continue to scale up our energy and mobility business. As I mentioned, we've got over 500 megawatts operating on our premises today. We have a goal of 1 gigawatt by 2025. So we're well on track to do that. Number two, really focusing on finding new material and substitute material that can lower our embodied carbon. So I did not mention this before, but every new development, we also do a life cycle assessment. So we have a very good understanding of where do we go and tackle the embodied carbon. So I'm really looking forward to making material progress there.
Susan, thank you so much for sharing your thought leadership with us. Really exciting things you're doing.
It was great to be here and have the conversation, James. Thank you.
You just heard from Susan Uthayakumar, the Chief Energy and Sustainability Officer at Prologis.